Hail everybody. I just wanted to drop a quick note to let you guys know that this Saturday coming, November 15th, we're going to have the 4th edition of the King's Gathering. King's Gathering number 4 at St. Mary's Church Hall, 5 p.m. this Saturday. You don't want to miss this. We're going to have a session by Dr. Curry here, a Q&A session, dealing with emotional intelligence. That's something that we all need to be aware of. I'll do a presentation for you. You've got to come and find out what that is. And also a presentation by attorney at law Jariah Rock. He's going to be talking about wills, divorce, how to protect yourself in a divorce and stuff like that. Things that we as men need to know in 2025 and beyond. Tamtar Culinary Creations, they will be providing refreshments as usual. So come on out this Saturday coming. This Saturday at 5 p.m. at St. Mary's Church Hall. Come on out, you don't want to miss it. See you guys there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate Shorts. I am your host, Neil, joined as always by my brother from another mother and your host, Derek.
Hill.
And together, we bring you another shorter version of the Senate podcast. And then, of course, the rose between the thorns, the undisputable, undeniable, most beautiful Dr. Carrie Ann Pierre.
Hi, people.
A long time, Doctor.
Again, long time.
You're hiding, man. You're hiding from Zoe. Where you hiding from, man?
Been busy, man. Been busy in the streets.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Woo!
That is not good. Anyhow,
Yeah,
let's not
man.
start our ceremony.
Let's not. So last weekend we were all in, the same space. We went to a little line and the discussion came up. This is the hot button topic now. Ayesha Curry and her interactions with her husband, Steph Curry, and stuff like that. Ayesha's had some stuff to say. We saw when she went on the Red Table Talk. And it's funny because, Jada is the body that running the Red Table.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as if she and a couple other people, it was Ayesha, Jada, Michelle Obama, and Remy Ma. Before them,
all at the same time.
All of them. No. They are no.
Oh.
The what they call it, Mount Ungrateful.
Yeah, the Mount Ungrateful.
Rushmore. They're the Mount Ungrateful. So.
Oh gosh. I'm so sorry that Michelle Obama is there.
And what is interesting about Mount Ungrateful, right, is that all four of these, the husbands and the ladies on Mount Ungrateful, they don't say anything bad about their wives, right? They don't air them out. Irrespective of what's going on in their relationships, they man, as far as we know, dutiful husbands. But anyhow, before we get too far ahead, let me watch the Red Table Talk and hear what Ayesha said a couple of years ago, right?
Have more compassion and more understanding.
Something that really bothers me and honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, there are all these women throwing themselves, but me, the past 10 years, I don't have any of that. I have zero, this sounds weird, but male attention. And so then, I begin to internalize it, and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What,
You're not looking. You're not even. But I'm gonna tell you something else too. When your radar's turned off, because I dealt with that for years too. And I was young, like you.
Yeah,
oh my God. I mean,
because I don't want it, but it'd be nice to know that someone's looking.
But when your radar's turned off, right, that can get real dangerous. Don't ever think for 1 minute that it ain't some men out there looking at you like I wish.
Honestly.
And I'm gonna tell you who knows that more than anybody.
I want to ask a question there. All of you made the decision not to try.
Yeah. So that's the Red Table Talk, right? But recently, Ayesha decided, you know what? Let me up the thing. As a matter of fact, before we get to that, before I get to the icing, the horrible icing of the bad cake, let me get to a bit more of the cake, right? So a couple years ago, she made an appearance on The Real, my girl Jeannie Mai. The Real Jeannie Mai, not the discount Jeannie Mai that we cover from time to time here. The Real Jeannie Mai, Adrienne, something she named, Lonnie Love, and Tia Mowry. Funny enough, right?
Yeah.
ladies stay away from these shows. She made an appearance on there, and this happened.
Marcel.
So out comes shirtless dude serving drinks. And here's Ayesha pretending to take off her wedding band because she sees a half-naked man with drinks. Now, we know that this is all jokes. We know this is jokes. We know this is kicks. That we front and say that we don't know. We know that that is a joke. A terrible joke. But a joke nonetheless, right? So let's go on, because on the same show, she had this to say.
Turn into a whole other thing, but my husband really loves my feet.
Oh, I love that.
And so, like, the light was hitting him just right that day. And so I was like, let me just snap this photo and send him a picture of my feet. So I always say, like, when he says to send nudes, like, that's what he's getting, a picture of my bare feet. I don't know if he's happy about
He's amusing.
Guy. No, I'm walking you guys through this because that is not the last, right? That's
of course.
I'm walking you guys, I'm walking the audience home, the 3 women that listen to this show, all the men, I think we got 700 subscribers the other day in here. So
Yeah. We
to all of you.
Yeah.
To all of you. Somebody told me the other day that we really put things in perspective when they listen to this show. So big up to all 700 and whatever of you. We appreciate it. Thank you for the love. And I'm walking all of you through this because, again, I want y'all to see that this ain't a one-time thing, right? This ain't a one-time thing. So let's hear what Ayesha, she went on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and she had more to say.
4 kids. Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals, and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
It's so hard also to be the woman in a situation where you're like, men just don't get as much scrutiny. Like they can maybe tell him like, your fucking shots suck tonight, but like the looks and all of that is just like not a factor of conversation as much.
No.
Did you talk to Steph about it? Like, or did you kind of keep it within yourself so it didn't?
I do not have a bone in my body that can keep anything to myself. So if it comes to mind, it's coming out. And he's so gracious. Like he tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, it's not true. So why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real. After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something, and then it kind of just disappeared, and I didn't think twice about it. But after my daughter turned 1, I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
If I have a career and I'm not home, like did you experience that?
I still experience that. I still experience that. I'm always in therapy talking about this. If you lose all of those things that were interesting about you, even for yourself, like even the things that made me feel confident and cool, then what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, and that was the latest one, right? And that is the one that kind of, stirred up the hornet's nest and got everybody up in arms, up in the feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, we walking through it for, I know they might seem like we're showing a lot of clips and showing a lot of videos and stuff like that. But we got to walk through it before we get to the discussion on the back end so that we know what we're actually discussing, right? This might be a little longer show, but This one is interesting because again, this is the hot button topic. Everybody talking about this. And you know, we in the Senate, we got a comment on it too, right? So that video dropped. Internet exploded. People went crazy. And ladies had their own thing to say about it, right? And this is the parts that we gotta get into now. So let's watch this because this response from it went on Welcome to the Culture as well. Show to them on Instagram. This lady, she made a TikTok in response to what Ayesha Curry said. And this one actually went viral as well. So let's hear what this young lady has to say.
Ayesha Curry is a perfect example of why it is so important to have a hoe phase. Go be a hoe. Be a hoe. But be a safe hoe though. Like protect yourself and don't get pregnant. That's why she's sitting over there feeling trapped. Trapped with Steph Curry. Sometimes you gotta go through some stuff to really appreciate what you have. She probably ain't never been hoed. She probably ain't never been drugged through the mud by a dude. She probably never been. She probably never had a heart broken time and time and time again. That's why she can't really appreciate what she has, because it's like, I need something edgy. I need something fun. Like this mom stuff. This being married to Steph Curry, this shit is boring. And now she's really rebelling. She want to be in the streets. She want to be desired by other men. She probably want to do something with another man because she probably never experienced that. Like, when did they get together? Like high school or something? That is not enough time to be out in the world and do stuff and experience stuff. Like, you don't have to experience a whole lot. But I don't think she experienced anything at all. And now she's tied down, married with kids. You can't go do your thing right now unless you go do your thing and run the risk. Like, you ain't just no Lucinda from down the block. You're Ayesha Curry. If you go mess with anybody, trust me, we gonna know about it.
Not Lucinda down the block.
Lucinda down the block. Lucinda down the block. And again, well, I know I want to chomping at the bit. I know you guys chomping a bit to respond to stuff, but there's more.
Oh, man.
There's more. Let's hear what this particular lady had to say. The one in the bonnet. Let's hear what this young lady had to say. She's saying that Ayesha Curry should have just written a book, right? So,
agree.
Just write a book, put everything up there. So let's hear what she had to say.
Ayesha Curry should have just wrote a book instead of going on any podcast or doing any interviews. She should have known that people lack basic comprehension skills. Why would they ever watch or listen to her full interview when they can just take this little snippet, run with it, and create their own narrative? Mind you, they hated her before this interview ever came out. I listened to the entire thing. Not only does she speak highly of her family, especially Steph, she answered the question the interviewer asked if she ever saw herself getting married. Why would she see herself getting married when from the age of 3, she was an actress? That was her destiny. That is what her parents were training her up to be. And because instead of her parents training her up to be a wife or making her think that that was the only thing that she could ever achieve, and instead they instilled in her that she can have her own career, her own path, her own desires, y'all are mad. She also adds that Steph is her first real anything. Their date was her first real date. When they got together, they were both pursuing their own thing. They were both in school, long distance. She had her own identity, and that was pretty much swept away by his career. And no, that's not a bad thing. To sit here and pretend like because she's married to Steph Curry that she doesn't deserve to have a life too is crazy. Married and having a child by an NBA player at the age of 22, she barely grew up. The way that these people are in this man's comments, in her comments, talking about leave her as if they do not have 4 kids and they aren't happy together. You would think that these people know Steph or they know them personally and have seen what they do in their relationship, in their marriage on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so that's that young lady. I told you that this one got the internet hot. This one got the internet hot. And people are winning. People are winning. They have a lot to say. And one more video for I beg you, stay with us. One more video. We're gonna play it for y'all before they open up the door and Neil and we can get into the commentary of it, right? Because there are a lot of dynamics at play.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that we got everything covered. Well, look, I'm here, man. I want to make sure we got everything covered. We set the plate, set the stage platform before we get into the conversation and examine the dynamics. Because we try to, again, this is a men's channel. We try to help men make sure that men can see exactly what's going on and process everything. Because again, there are levels to this thing. I say that all the time. There are levels to this thing, right? You might not be Steph Curry, right? You may not be worth $250 million, and that's billion with a B, right? You may not be worth $250 million. Shoot, you may not be even worth $250,000, but you might be doing all you could do to provide for somebody. And this is the kind of situation that you find yourself in. And I'm sure most men have found themselves in situations like this. So let's watch this last video before we open up to commenting, right?
The reason why a lot of y'all can't empathize with Ayesha Curry is because she has a life that you told that you were supposed to have if you did everything the right Christian way. That if you were good and you met the guy and you did great and you got married and you had the kids and the guy has money and he's successful, that you were going to be happy. She has a life that you aspired to have. She has a life that you still aspire to have. And don't get me wrong, she said some things in the past I don't agree with, but life has a funny way of teaching you things. And where that lady is saying, I do love my husband and I love my children and I love the life that I have, but I do have regrets because this is not the life that I envisioned for myself. A lot of y'all cannot understand that because that is the life that you envision for yourself. Especially because Steph Curry is considered a good man. That man goes home to his children. He don't cheat. He's a good husband. He's all the things. And people cannot understand why a woman would not be happy with that type of life and her identity only being in her relation to other people. She has been with that man since she was a child. And now she's either 40 or pushing 40. That's a long time, especially when somebody at Steph Curry's level and status, all she will ever do, that lady can go and invent something that changes the entire world and existence as we know it, and she will be known as Steph Curry's wife, who also did this thing. And that's exactly how patriarchy functions. It limits women to their greatest accomplishment being marriage, their greatest accomplishment being the type of man they're able to keep. And a lot of y'all were taught that if y'all did things a very specific way, then you would be happy and you would find fulfillment, and that's not true. Because there is a level of fulfillment that you can only acquire by being able to accomplish things on your own. It doesn't matter your husband, your children, your family, your friends. What have you done for you? How have you poured into you? Who have you become in spite of all these other factors? And a lot of y'all can't see that because a lot of y'all have been lied to and told that the greatest accomplishment you will ever get in your life is a man. It's a good man.
No, I go off. No, I go over that before. Let me hear from the two of you. I got one more video, but let me start that video where y'all respond. Go ahead. Let me hear y'all.
Gosh, boy. So, yes, I appreciate how Ayesha feels. It is a common feeling for many women, right? Who are married, have children, and have comments about, I've lost myself. I am overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, all these things, even if they envisioned being married and having children, right? Even if that's what they wanted. When they finally get it, it's overwhelming, it's exhausting, it's draining, it's all the things. I'm only known as his wife, right? And the mother of these children. I'm only known as that. And then of course, there is a flip side. There is a side of, why don't you have children? Why are you not married? Why don't you want to be in that, why don't you want to attain that kind of status in life? So there's no pleasing. There's no pleasing sometimes yourself and sometimes no pleasing your social surroundings. So that's all said and done. I do agree that she could have found different ways to communicate. Because in this day and age, this is exactly what happens, right? You go and you say a full communication, and social media has a way of just taking these little bites to jar conversation and likes and all this kind of rhetoric that we're seeing going on. I will admit, when I saw just the clip of her talking about, oh, she never wanted to be a wife, she never wanted to be a mother, it sounded kind of off. It offsets you, right? It's like, what the hell are you talking about? But when you understand the full context of things, the timing for her was, in her mind, disruptive. Got it. My question, my personal question, and I guess if I was 22, being proposed to by someone who's an up and coming basketball star, it would be a totally different reality for me, right? But I always feel somewhere, somehow, and people are going to be so annoyed by this, there is an opportunity for you to say, pump brakes. Let's have a conversation and figure out how this is going to be, because here's what I would like to do. Here are the things I have lined up already. Here are the things I'm dreaming of. What is that going to look like now if I jump into this marriage with you and knowing that you have all of this lined up and what it could potentially mean for you? Am I just going to chug along, or can I, break off at some point and do what I still want to do? And I believe she can still do what she wants to do. I don't think at any point in their marriage he wouldn't have been supportive to say, yeah, go back to the dream that you wanted, or make it even bigger at some point. Because at some point I know she was doing a food show, some cooking thing, and then she has like a skincare line or something I heard she was involved in, right? So she was doing other things. And I think that's good. You're supposed to. As a matter of fact, it's highly encouraged that you do the things you want to do and you've dreamed of as a man or a woman. Because if the shoe were on the other foot, right, and she was the famous one and pursued him, and he just had to chug along and be a stay-at-home dad, we'd hear a whole nother, oh, look, he's a supportive husband and she's blowing
Shut
up
up and
big.
support the woman. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right. So it's supposed to do, right? So there's so many angles to it. It is annoying. I will admit that it's annoying. I'm going to just put it that way, because there's so many spaces in which people are making it sound terribly wrong. Like she's terribly wrong. And I think it's just because of how she is everywhere and anywhere talking about this thing. I feel there's a time and place for certain stuff, but I guess we'd live in a different society where time and place doesn't matter anymore. You just, as you guys always say, put a mic in front of somebody and them tell you their whole sex life and how many this and that of Club Sparta, all of this kind of lifestyle. So her timing and placing seems inappropriate, but who am I? I'm not being interviewed by Call Her Daddy, whatever podcast, and I'm not being interviewed by these spaces, nor am I married to some global superstar. I am happily where I am, so my context is different. Yeah.
I agree with you so much, Doc. I mean, I think what people are failing to understand is very interesting, right? Because we have seen this a few times over the last few years, right? Since around COVID or whatever with Jada Pinkett Smith. We've seen it a bit with Remy Ma. We've seen it a bit now with Michelle Obama. We are seeing spaces and places where powerful women who are prominent in their field speaking about their relationship in a very candid and open manner, right?
Right.
And I'll be honest and say, and even be a little bit of lend a bit of credibility to this type of speaking about regret and speaking about these things. I think there's a space for that, right? Because I think there are some women that forego their dreams and aspirations in lieu of a man's career or in lieu of what a man wants in terms of family, right? And because she said at the time she did not want a family, she didn't want a big family, she wasn't ready to be pregnant, she wanted to be the star or a star.
Career girl. She wanted to be a career girl.
Right. Especially since she was from young, acting and being groomed to be an actress. I don't necessarily have a problem with what she said. Right. I don't have a problem with what she said. And I think there are spaces where you can talk about that. Right. But as you just said, though, I completely agree. You still have to read the room and understand with social media what you going on a large platform to say certain things, what that would mean. For example, if the if the conversation was framed around women that had dreams and aspirations, have a large family and stuff like that, like if it was something that was not a let me just interview this person, but it was a more focused conversation, right? Then it would almost give you context to it. And even then, you know how the internet is. You could clip something out of context and it go all over the world, like what one of those women said in the videos earlier, right? But I think the problem is that one, and it's funny because the patriarchy woman said it, you have a life, right? That most women would literally do most things for, right? You have a top 20 basketball player of all time, and he's probably top 10 at the end of it, right? This is a great basketball player. A man that has revolutionized the game. He has a lot of money, assets and money around him. He is a man that has a lot of success, right? You've committed to him, you have that. A lot of women will want that, to have the fame, the adulation, have a man, or you may not be in the spotlight, but you spotlight adjacent. You know what I mean? You have access to the spotlight, right?
Close enough.
You're close enough, right? But my issue,
I think that's a problem, by the way.
Close but not there.
I can leave that for you to speak on. But because I do agree with where you're going with it too. But my thing is that I just want there's a when you are married, right? When you have committed, because Ayesha Curry has committed to Steph Curry, right?
Correct.
She has probably had to put a lot aside in lieu of being pregnant and doing certain things, right?
You come to that too, but carry on.
Right? I just put it. We put in all the cards out there, right? But she would have committed to this man, right? I don't know if they had a conversation of where we both want to be and what our goals are, as the dot alluded to. I don't know, but the point remains is that she is committed. They have the family. She now is, she feeling as if she wants the male gaze, because let me be honest, I can't imagine you being a sexy red thing for all these years, and then all of a sudden, no, you put on some weight, you had some children for a man, and the men ain't looking at you a certain type of way anymore, especially since you're married to such a good man. But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm trying to get at is you have to know what your relationship is and respect that relationship. I think that there is a space and a place to say certain things in an open, honest context with talking about the pressures of being a mother to somebody that's that famous, or not a mother, sorry, a partner to somebody that's that famous, or has so many children for somebody that famous, or taking a backseat. Like there's a context to that. There's a framework behind that, right? And there's also a framework behind having the conversation of feeling a level of resentment of that, especially if your goal was to also be in the spotlight and also have a prominent career, being in the public eye and influencing people, right? I get that. I think for me, you just gotta know when and where to say certain things. You got to be very careful how you choose your words, because no matter how you say something, it will be misconstrued and it will seem as if you are ungrateful. And you are not ungrateful, Ayesha Curry. The internet ain't getting on you just because of the Call You Daddy podcast, You got a track record of this. You understand? You have a track record of this, of saying things and doing things.
He's a habitual line stepper.
You're a habitual line stepper, right? So there's a time and place for everything. You got to be very careful. To me, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I ain't really want to get into that here. Let me just leave it as, I am happy where I am. I am grateful. And, right? Now, go ahead.
Before you go, again, there's a comment you were just making about what she was saying on the other show about how she wants to be looked at, etc., and seen, so and so. How about thinking that the days of people hollering at you have changed because you have now reached a marriage level? You're now someone's wife. You're now someone's mother 4 times over, apparently, for her, right? Society looks at you differently. There's a different degree of respect that is now due to you as a mother, as a wife, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that many of us as women may not keep in mind, because, as a recent wife, the way that people speak to me now when they and I can go into the same spaces. I'm not talking about going to a new space that I don't know or people don't know me. in the same spaces that I move in now. Oh, you're married? And the conversation is different, right? Even if it's my guy friends, the conversation is different. And I see that as good. I don't want you talking to me with the same slackness just because we're friends, right? Just because we're friends doesn't mean that I must still engage in the same degree of slackness that we used to joke around, or certain things just don't happen anymore when you get to motherhood and wife status. And I think that we may not be recognizing that as a good thing as women. I think we're still as you said, right, the danger, we still want some sort of danger with this lifestyle, and it's not appropriate. Why would you want something to be threatening your marriage and threatening your children? Why? Danger is not necessary at this time and place. So I think that again, as we're saying, context and understanding time and place. You've shifted. There is a new energy that you've stepped into as wife and as mother. And so certain things are not warranted anymore and should not be desired anymore.
And I am glad you said that, because there is a danger. Some people may say, what's the problem if a man shoot his shot or slide into DMs and they don't respond, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is something that I have learned, especially in marriage, right? You have to be mindful with the information you let out and the people you let into your orbit now, right? Yes, somebody sliding into your DMs may seem like, oh, well, that's them. People want to slide in DMs, whatever. I don't have to answer that, or whatever, right? You can't do anything about that. Unsolicited, people are going to shoot their shot. But how do you proceed and engage in that person? I thought it was very dangerous of her to say, I wish a man would holler at me every now and then and think. But her DMs must be flooded the next day, right? Because to me, you rang the dinner bell to say, shoot your shot, fellas. Shoot your shot, fellas. I may not select you, but shoot your shot. And again, you gotta be mindful when you are talking about a certain level of relationship, right? It is not for the faint of heart, right? No. To me, when you're talking about big like decisions like marriage, having children, etc., this is a different level of sensibility you have. I'm not saying it's more mature. I'm not saying it's more responsible. You just have to, your thought process has to change. From the simple fact that you now have to protect not only yourself, but you have to protect your husband, your wife, your children, your relationship with your children and your spouse, right? Because you can't just go there saying, man, I wish. That's like me. Again, this podcast, we got 700 people, right? That's like me go there saying, as a married man, no thought I want. Boy, I wish I get two girls holler at me, boy. Yeah, he holler at me, I miss the days, these streets. And then when they get too slide in my DMs, or when they walk in the road, women know all approaching me and things like that. They know, like, you understand me? So you have to be very careful. And the other, before I hand it over to Derek, I want to speak to the patriarchy. I want to speak to the patriarchy. Right?
I'm not surprised that you do.
No, I want to speak to the patriarchy, right? Because in the basic sense of the word, we do live in a patriarchy. The word patriarchy has been bastardized now and demonized to the point where it is seen as an extremely bad thing from the standpoint of oppression and, subjugation, right? We live in a patriarchy, and it's being used as the word patriarchy would have been used in times where women had no voices, women had no rights, women had no say so, women were seen as chattel, women were seen as property, and you had to pay for a woman to marry her or be paid for to, what I mean? That was a patriarchy, and we live in a patriarchy still, but it's not the same patriarchy, right? Because I find it fascinating that women are getting on the other people getting on the internet, right? They're getting on a public platform to millions of people. Fingernails do how to feel like, tattoos all they want, how to feel like, hair, however they want. Their appearance is theirs. No man or no law has said that you cannot dress the way you want, and rightly so. You have the right to dress and present yourself however you want to present yourself, right? But I find it simultaneously fascinating, hilarious, and frustrating that the word patriarchy is thrown around as if it is, this is what society says. You got to acquiesce to a man, and you gotta do this for a man, and you gotta do that for a man. If Ayesha Curry married, right? They ain't had no children yet, just married. Steph said, well, again, the league, that's my dream, that's my goal. Was your dream, was your goal? She said, well, my dream, my goal is to be a talk show host, an actress, etc., etc. All right, media mogul, talk show, whatever. Good. You meet in the middle. Sure, you have a child, you know what I mean? That happens. You have 2 children, you have 3 children. Steph's career takes off. You are stuck minding children in your mind, right? But that's not the patriarchy. That is not Steph saying, no, I don't know. Steph could have said it. But let's really be real. You think Steph coming home to tell she, because she don't keep, to her own words, she don't keep.
Yeah, she said it. She don't keep it.
Right. So if Steph to come home and say, here, children, right? See all that dream and thing, thought show host, Oprah and thing that you got going on? Out there. I want 4 children. I get on change the league. I come in to get us millions. Fall in line and let me get things going. That did not happen. We would have heard. So in my mind, I this word patriarchy frustrates me because this is the freest time in human history where man, woman, and all and sundry can do as they feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like Pastor Eiffel, right? Do what you feel like.
Feel like.
Do it! Right? This is the first time in human history, right? Think of all of the times through history where women could not openly be able to read.
Mm-hmm.
A woman reading is witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
You kill that Bernstein state.
Yeah.
You're doing mathematics. How you know other languages? Oh, you got dead, right?
Yeah.
Those times are so far removed from us now that you have the ability to go on the internet as a woman and say whatever you feel like saying, right? And you can, in that freedom and expression, you use the word patriarchy in a demonizing and oppressive way, as if men are here saying, here, tune, sweetheart, get in line, fall in line, or we can go, get rid of you. It's just frustrating to me. And I want to be clear. I am not saying that women should not have the right to express themselves. I am all in favor for that. I just don't think that you should have the freedom to express yourself and then come and talk about patriarchy. That we oppressing one, and we come in to say, oh, his husband falling
right,
in line.
because it negates. It negates, right? And you can't say, you can't be out here publicly using your platform to communicate in the way you want to communicate and then say that you're oppressed.
You understand? You got one woman saying, like, she just want to be outside, she want to be hauled out. You got the freedom to come and say you should hold yourself, and you can do that. You could go there, Club Sparta. You could
Club Sparta.
And you could get you'll get everything kicking, right? But you can't now come and tell me that you are under the patriarchy, the thumb of the boot of the patriarchy. I just, at some point, it gonna make sense. We either pressing y'all, or you got the freedom to do as you feel like.
Right.
Yeah. That's just my comments there.
There are so many layers, so many facets to this thing, right? That's why I sure the wife a little frustrated, because I've consumed so much of this content over the past 2 days, right? Just looking at the different angles at everything that's happening, right? So I don't even know if to start with Ayesha or start with the ladies that commented in response. So I can start with Ayesha. Let me start there, right? I come back to them ladies, because when you get married, right? And both of you said it. Both of you alluded to it or said it directly. There's nothing wrong with her saying how she feels. There's nothing wrong with her expressing how she feels, right? And if we're being entirely honest, I'm sure the 3 women that watch the show would agree. When there is an element to being in a relationship is like, Lord have mercy, I would like to be just a woman. And having lived the life that I've lived being out there in these streets, there are women that have communicated to me that they enjoyed my company because it made them feel like just a woman. There wasn't nobody wife nor girlfriend. There wasn't nobody mother. There was just a woman. And that's why they enjoyed my company, right? As you see, Neil, everything it meant to talk. When you see the red light come on and everything that meant to talk, right? When you get in a relationship, and you take it to the level where you are somebody's wife or husband, they can include the men in this here, right? This is now a 2-person team that we were working with. And as such, because you know we say in Barbados, what happened between when 4 feet get in the bed, you can't get between them. We say that in Barbados, right? So no, you learn on today.
Yeah.
Right? When 4 feet get in the bed, don't try to get between them. In other words, what happens between a couple stays between a couple, or should, right? It's their business, right? There are dynamics within a relationship between a couple that may seem extremely abnormal to any other people looking, right? But your responsibility, your role as that in that relationship, as husband, wife, long-term boyfriend, girlfriend, common law, whatever you want to call it, your role is to guard the relationship.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't just go there, oh, you partner business, and people saying, you know, oh, Steph is a good man, and something is significantly wrong. When the only bad things we can say about this man coming from
he's a good man. Yeah, yeah.
coming from your wife.
Yeah.
The call coming from inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. I knew you would have said it. You got to protect your relationship. You got to protect your partner. You can't open up your relationship to everything by going and saying certain things. Right? You can't just go and ear your mouth. If you're in a relationship, that is you and your husband, you and your wife, you gotta keep the locker room tight. You can't just be coach talking and you texting somebody outside saying, "My love you, bitch." Can't do that.
Yeah.
This is for the men that's watching the channel. This is D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young in the Lakers locker room. Nick Young talking about how he was playing horns on Azalea, Iggy Azalea, and D'Angelo Russell takes it out,
recording
it live. So everything in the locker room come out, right? And everything that is coming out of this relationship is coming out because of her, right? And people say, "Oh, we're always tearing down black women. Black men can't do this, the patriarchy and all that." Yeah. Which is worse for? I can ask both of you. And I can ask the 3 women and the men that watch this channel, right? Which is worse? Because I had this interaction there with a friend of ours who shall remain nameless, right? Her husband, good friend of ours as well, messaged me and said that we had some complaints, said that we are showing these wild cases with these people. These things don't happen in their friend circle. You know the usual thing, right? You're pulling down black women. She didn't go that far, right?
Right.
You're pulling down black women. That's what people say, right? And I don't think it's a case of pulling down black women. So let me ask the question, which is worse? We and other content creators reporting on the things, or the people not doing the things? Which is worse?
But here's the thing, right? Look, it's a simple thing. The only reason we're talking about this is because she's saying all.
Because she says so. Exactly. People create content. Yeah. If you never said anything, nobody would have known anything. I said it, and when I say anything, right? Because we know that there is a wives club. We know this. There's a wives club and there's a motherhood club. We know these. And then there's a men's club, right? And there are ways in which the wives club meet and discuss certain things, and it Ghana Road, which is a kind of club it sounds like she is a part of, versus the wives club who meet and help each other and navigate, and you don't even know the difference that they've even met.
There you go.
There are wives clubs like that.
But my thing is, if Ayesha Curry had come along and said, because she wants to be a talk show host, she wants to have her own space and energy or whatever, she could have started a podcast saying, "You know what, I am starting this podcast because I want to help women navigate, motherhood and wives,
being a wife to a celebrity."
Certain things, right?
I'm glad you did that.
Instead of going on inflammatory podcasts like Red Table Talk, I'll call her daddy.
Because Kamala Harris went on call her daddy, by the way. Let me put that out there. Right?
She did?
And it went terribly. During elections last year, boy.
Junk, right?
Instead of talking about country and things, talk about your foolish.
Right? So I am glad, Nita, you've provided this little dovetail into this, right? Because people saying, she put her career on hold and dreams and all that there. Cool. And when we had the conversation live and in person last weekend, one of our colleagues, Mark brought this up, she would not have known where Steph was gone. So allow me, right? Allow me now. Steph joined the NBA in 2009. They got married in 2011. Their first child was in 2012. Right? His first contract was for north of $12 million. 4 years, $12 million in change, right? His father, Del Curry, Sr., was a former NBA player coming back in the 90s, right? So Steph is struggling. Bigger King, right? Steph is struggling, right? He was never struggling. She knows this. Both of them are heading to 40 years old. Neil, Dr. Kerry, as I said with Jada, if it was going to happen, it would have happened already. She launched a cooking show or whenever it was in 2016 or something like that. When Stephanie first championship? 2016, for those who ain't know, right?
Long time ago.
So her platform has been elevated because of whom she's married to, right? Don't let me fool with it, right? If she was that, because we know that Steph back in she. We know this. If she get tomorrow and says she want to do XYZ, she could hire whichever
She
nanny
can have it. Yeah.
and she could go and do that, right? She don't let me fool with that. She pushing mop and broom and cooking 3 square meals a day and all that there. She ain't that kind of housewife, right? So she has the latitude to experience and explore whatever she wants to experience and explore. The woman says she's still in therapy. You know, I realize I caught your ears, right? No, she's still in therapy. So she could pay and go for whatever therapy she wants. Talking there.
Yeah.
Talk in there. That's what you're paying to do. You're paying to talk in there. Talk in there. Do not come at your husband that is providing everything for you. And this is the ironic part, right? Because we girlfriend talk about, oh, she's never been hoed out. She need a whole phase. Ladies, the 3 ladies that listen to this content, a whole phase is the worst.
The worst.
You can ever think about.
God.
Right? Imagine, right? Let me ask. Let me just ask. We can let this question sit there, right? Do you need to go to prison? But no. Well, ain't even let me finish the question. So right?
Don't finish
Do you
it.
need to go to prison to recognize that freedom is a good thing?
Oh my gosh.
Steph Curry is 6'3", just under 200 pounds, worth $250 million. And as we have alluded to already, the inner scandals, the most junk we hear about, the worst we can say about Steph is the mouthpiece at a referee engaged jet.
In the finals, yeah.
All the foolishness we know about Steph come from who? Inside the house. This is the man that women just pray for. Red man, 6'3", $250 million.
God-fearing.
Yes.
Marty high school sweetheart. And we ain't hear about he stepping up and she in the past 2 decades, right? We ain't hear nothing about nothing so.
Nothing.
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 We ain't hear about that. You understand? This is the man that women, Sierra's prayer. This is the man that women dreaming about.
You know, Derek, though, sorry to cross you, right? But somebody said the other day that Ayesha Curry is what we thought Sierra would have been. In terms of Sierra coming from Future, having a child, thinking that they want the good man, Christian Mano, to while out and do certain things. But Sierra, has kept her mouth shut.
Correct.
She has kept her mouth shut. She said, you know, the man's
Christian Mano. Twerking and thing every now and again.
Yeah. But the point remains is that Sierra is the one that everybody was saying, and ever saying, you gonna break out. You gonna break out, do some foolishness with a good man. You gonna fumble this.
We still waiting. The point is, we waiting.
But people would say... But people would say that if you're well, I don't like comparisons. I don't like when we do the comparisons like that. But people would say that Sarah had a whole phase because of who she was with prior to getting with Russell, right? No disrespect, right? I don't know the man. I don't know Future. I don't know his lifestyle. I don't know, apart from what music tells me. But people would say that the experience with him would have been equivalent to a whole phase.
All right, let me go back to the whole phase video, right? Say, she's never been dragged through the mud by a man. Had she heartbroken? I ain't know what winner. No, that's like anything you want to go through in life.
But
You
wait,
want
but
to
here, but
experience several heartbreaks, calling a man for you horny, you going and coming to appreciate a man that ain't doing them things.
Oh, no,
my
you
thing is
don't.
right. My thing is right. My thing is right. All three of us have experienced heartbreak. We have experienced, well, not direct infidelity, but at least a concern of it. You know, we've all gone through it. We've all cried, shed tears. We've all done the whole phase. We've all had our moments, right? And I understand you ain't get out there, you ain't really see the world. It's almost like what I realize with children is that they don't want to sleep because the fear that they're gonna miss something, right? When really and truly they're not gonna miss.
Nothing to me.
You know what I'm saying? But I understand the thinking. You want to experience life. You have no life experience per se in the dating market, and you want to get out there and stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, we say this all the time as people that have been in the streets and recently got away from the streets. The streets in it, they do not love you like that person does.
Love you like I do.
Big up my girl, man.
You need to know that. Listen, the streets are not a good place, right?
Oh, Lord.
I have had my heart broken several times. You think I want that back? As a matter of fact, right? I have said it to my friends, my family, my wife. I don't want another heartbreak again. I'm done with that. And if I do get another heartbreak, it's scorched earth. I'm done. I'm finished. It's not even like a whole phase nor nothing. We got to understand, right? Yes, the danger, the excitement, the je ne sais quoi. We living, we feeling something, right? That is good. But women, y'all don't want stability. Y'all don't want the stability. Y'all's cry for the stability every day when I want stability.
And that's the problem. They probably need to stop. Let me hear you, Doc. Let me hear what the guy say.
That's what I was going to say, right? Because we're talking about the opposite sides of the spectrum here. I remember when I first came on with you guys, we were talking about Club Sparta a lot and how these women are just out here. You have a man to fix a tire, the man to do the plumbing, the man to put on the dates, all these things, right? That danger and excitement, slanging wood all day with Zoe and all this kind of foolishness, right? You have all that. Then you get to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I want somebody to help me pay the bills. I want somebody to love on me. I want somebody to give me a soft life and help me to build a soft life and all this. My mother always used to say to me, duality is what will mess you up, right? Attachment to duality as humans is what will mess you up. And your failure to be present will get you into trouble. When you're all over the place and not spending time understanding your context, your own personal content, who you are, and what you have to offer, and thus what you wish to receive. When you don't know them something, when you don't know yourself, when you don't sit down and get to know yourself, rest your front, you get into trouble, right? It's peer crosses. And I see these dynamics so often with women wanting to be out here and the danger and the excitement. And then all of a sudden the same night she'll talk about, I'm so tired, I just want to come home to somebody to help me with this and that. Make up your mind.
I make sure
them is lyrics there, Doc. Them is lyrics there, because the reality is when you're gonna make a decision and you're gonna go down the road with it, right? Especially if you decide in life, if you say yes to something, you say no to something else.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
But for me
Bars.
to say yes to do this recording where they already know, they gotta say no to doing something else. You can't get both. And a lot of women, unfortunately, let me say women want to have everything. You can't.
Not at the same time, Derek. Not at the same time, right?
Yeah, not at the same time.
Not at the same time. And what is so funny, and this is something I'm actually going to speak on later this week. The way in which this wanting everything all at once out of female empowerment, I can do it all at once. I can be the mother, the boss, the business owner, the wife, the this, all at the same time. And then you burn out to no end, right? And have completely lost yourself in the midst of everything and wondering, Why? You want the whole life pass you by?
No, Doc, we talking saying here a little bigger now, right? Because wanting the success, wanting to be this, that, the next, and the third, right? We've always said that it's almost like women want to have the life, the opportunities, and the ability to move like a man, right? They want the C-suite office, be a CEO. They want to have the trophy wife. They want to be able to go in the street and, call the shots. They want to do certain things almost like a man, but it's not like a man, it's like a toxic man, because what ends up happening when a man is able to earn 6 figures, 7 figures, is able to maintain a certain level of lifestyle, he has to be faithful and come home. He has to endure whatever that home situation is, whether good, bad, or indifferent. That man has to have the pressure of the world on him. That man he can't say anything outright because he's seen as, soft or whatever. Right? So then the man's do what? Turn to drinking, infidelity, smoking. He's turned to things that are not healthy and conducive. He becomes a toxic man. And the thing about it is, often I hear some women talk about want the patriarchy. They want to be able to do certain things and be certain things and have certain things and move certain ways. Men just move this way, so why not us? The issue comes with y'all don't see when the man is burnt out and frustrated.
Correct.
You don't see when the man is saying,
Correct.
you know what, I don't know how you met these bills. He don't see the pressure of having to work and to maintain and to do these things, right?
Correct.
They don't see when women come around and they gotta be like, no, I'm married, go from around me, I don't want that there. They don't see that. They don't see the good man, because the good man, to be a good man, you would just see the good man. But to do that, you have to sacrifice a lot. Steph Curry, for example, right, is a perfect example. Now, I may not know Steph Curry, and I may have only a fraction of the understanding of what he has had to sacrifice to get to where he is as a top NBA player, top professional basketball player in the best league in the world, right? He has had to sacrifice a lot. The man got 4 children. He's be at work and he's got deep in the playoffs. So for 8 months of the year, 9 months of the year, right? And don't let me talk about Olympics. Don't let me talk about injury. Don't let me talk about the other things that have happened in his career, right? He has had to do a lot. Ayesha may know, she may have an inkling, or she might not know at all. But the point remains,
he ain't there, so she has to know. And that's bring across you here, Neil. I say, as bad as this sound, that is why, because she's right there, she knows. She has a duty and a responsibility to shut up.
Just play your role. Play your role.
He get up there keeping the thing turning. I said it last time we talked about this. If she was Ayesha Brathwaite, nobody would not care. If she was Ayesha Brathwaite from New Orleans, nobody would care. But you are Ayesha Curry. You are on those podcasts because of your last name. That's why you are on those podcasts. Your role is to help keep the thing turning, preserve the image of the man, right? Preserve the image of the man. And again, people say, oh, Steph might not have a problem with it. That would be very true. Steph might not have a problem with whatever she say, right? Because you know when we love women bad, we turn it into a lot of things.
Exactly. Right? That's probably why he answered
Steph
that, and the man in love.
Right? So Steph may not got a problem with it, but this is a challenge here. A lot of other people got a problem with it, and it's public. So now you are damaging his reputation.
Yes.
You damaging his reputation. And when you damage his reputation, it impacts you because
the family and those children.
And family. Because now your children got to grow up and hear, oh wait, they never really want.
Can you imagine hearing a snippet of that clip? Oh, I never wanted children. Your children gonna be like, wait, she never wanted me? What? Wait, what? Can you imagine? No, can you just imagine your kids going to school one day?
Your mother didn't want you.
Your mother never wanted you. Your mother never wanted you. I heard that your mother didn't want you. What?
Exactly. So your job, help keep the thing rolling. Keep the thing rolling. You don't gonna get fancy here. Don't try nothing. Stand in the corner, shoot this tray when the ball come to you. That's all you gotta do.
This is what I said the other night. Remember, I said this too, and we were all having the other side of this conversation. It is boring, right? And here is the thing: why gentlemen like Steph will not say anything, because rocking the boat for stuff like this distracts from the priorities and the
Exactly.
structure he
Facts.
The
has
body
to
that
maintain
the
for the
body that roll
security of the
ain't got the
unit.
time to rock the boat, you
He
know.
doesn't have time.
The body that
doesn't
roll
have
ain't got the time to
time.
rock it.
And this is what I'm saying about respecting the level you've attained. When you attain the level of wife, a lot of people are out here talking about, Lord Jesus, me tired. Yes, it can be exhausting and it's going to be boring. But there is a security and an assurance that comes with it. It is guaranteed.
And there are
to
many
you.
things in life that guaranteed.
And there are not many things in life that are guaranteed.
Imagine this, right? Imagine, she got Steph, that's she husband. She want Anthony Edwards. I had 4 children from 4 different women in a year. You want that? What we put in the way?
Does you want? But
you can't appreciate Steph, so you gotta want that. That's the life you seem to want.
Lord,
right?
And I remember you said it earlier, and I didn't want to cut you. I didn't want to jump in there, but you're right. There is a different level of respect and stuff where you attain wait for a husband status. People look at you differently. They address you differently. You no need if you experience people addressing you as Mr. Hoyt. No.
Up to the other day, Ma said, "Shout Mrs. Hoyt for me. Just shout Mrs.
It's a different level. So when she goes and on the red table talk and say, "Oh, people don't slide you DMs no more.
They're not supposed to."
Because is again, men understand rank and stuff like that. If your husband is Steph Curry, Neil and I know we can't holler at you. At least we should know. Because being in that task bracket,
he is the quadruple threat.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get past that. There are no cracks. There are no cracks.
And
but even men on his level, will not be checking for her.
But that's what I'm saying. Because and I'm sorry, Derek, but I was saying there are no cracks in the relationship, but there are because you is the screen door for the submarine. You is the one that but here leaking.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the challenge that this relationship is having. There's no reason that we in Barbados should know so much about your relationship. We are so far removed from
so far
and the NBA. And you, we know who you base. We know that you don't really want it. Have judgment and all that. That stuff shouldn't be put in the podcast. I'm sorry.
It's not. It's not appropriate.
Yeah.
I agree with both y'all. We just got to be mindful though. You see, fame, there you say something, right? You've said something before in this space where some women don't know when they've won.
Yeah.
Some women don't know.
Yes. You know who we're talking about when they said that?
Who's that?
Literally the last time we did it, we not the last time. We talked about
yeah.
But when we doing this, we do a live stream. It was she talking about.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
You don't know, women don't know when they've won, you know. And what is very, very interesting to me, you have won, right? Yes, it may not look pretty, it might got cracks under it, it may not be all smooth and everything like that, but the point remains is that, as Derek and the daughter are saying, the only way we know is because you opening your mouth. You have won.
The woman got people like a woman do a video talk what she need to get hold and talk about she trapped.
Terrible. Yes. Trapped by Steph Curry. Can you imagine that?
Listen, this is wild. And you know, this is something that we got to be mindful of. Ladies, I understand sometimes what you want may change, or you may want a Frankenstein of all the things you want, right? You may want piece here, piece there, piece here, and piece everywhere, right? But as the Dot and Derek have said, you cannot have everything. You cannot.
At the same time. You can have everything, you know, but it's going to come in phases at different times.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah, you can't have it at the same time.
Because you cannot have a successful man, right? A famous man. Because success is boring, you know. Success, let me talk about success for a minute. I'm sorry getting off on the tangent, right? But success is boring. Success, the road to success, nobody don't see Steph Curry shooting 2,000 threes a day. Nobody don't see Barack Obama writing and preparing and learning law and everything like that. All the things he's going to do and the stress he's going to endure. Nobody don't see Will Smith and all he has had to sacrifice and put up with and to do in order to get the level of fame that he has, right? We just all, to get successful, we's got to do a lot of things that we don't want to do. I tell myself that every time he got to get a swimming. I say, my man, do what you have to do so that you could do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to put in that work. what y'all are seeing when you see Steph Curry getting all the adulation and the awards and the pictures taken, and Will Smith getting all of this and that, the Oscar and this and that, Obama getting Peace Prize and all it. When you see those things, you are seeing the end result, the spoils. You are seeing the 2%, the reward of all of the years of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So I want people to understand, right? Yes, you want men to holler at you. You want to feel desired. You want to have the career where everybody is looking at you and saying, wow, that person is fantastic at what they do. Everybody wants to have a level of recognition for what they do, but you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice.
You know, so one of the things that sacrifice comes into this kind of conversation around lacking, and I don't want people to get that from you guys, right? The sacrifice is comprised of commitment and discipline.
Dedication.
That is what
that's
sacrifice is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is not lacking. It is not having something. And I think that is something that feeds into the narrative of why some folks don't like the idea of being married, right? The boredom and the routine is sacrifice, because in my marriage, I have decided to be committed and disciplined to myself and to my husband. That is sacrifice, right? And in that, you continuously do that every day, i.e., routine, in order to stay secure and to get to that successful point. So the same thing this is a much larger conversation, but I want to bring it up because I think there is something to be said about the folks that watch you guys and the mindsets in which they have already been conditioned to believe that when you say routine, sacrifice, these things, it triggers, and they may not even be aware, but it triggers a thing of, Lord, so I have to go without?
Lack.
I have to lack? No. And I want to make sure that folks are catching this now. When these guys are talking to you about sacrificing, it is you coming to a point of clarity that you are going to decide clearly on something. You are committing to that decision and you are disciplined in that. The commitment and discipline give you sacrifice that then lends to the success. Because Steph is not lacking in anything,
No.
right? He's not lacking in anything.
I guess what? Neither is she.
And neither is she. But she doesn't know how to be. It does not appear. Let me put it that way. I don't know the girl from Adam, right? It does not appear in the way that I have heard her speak that she understands, or she may understand it. And as you know, people just do things for show and do things for claps and likes. But it does not appear that her decision is fully committed. She's decided to be on board in this, but there does not appear to be a full commitment and discipline to her decision.
I love the fact that you said that some people say things for claps and likes and stuff like that, because as you were talking, the other side of it that clicked into me is that she may very well be doing this for claps and likes and stuff like that, because the whole victim mentality is something that can be
currency. You always said
right?
that.
Victim of this currency, right? Victim of this currency. And being able to get on a podcast and say, oh, life was so hard for me. Oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
I had to struggle in this $1 million mansion with these 4 children that I never really want. Oh, life is so hard. There's currency in that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it is monetizable, if you can say that. Right?
Absolutely.
So you got Tia Murray, for example, press eject when she married to Walmart and said, oh, the dating market is trash. But you don't have no right out there. So it's bound to be trash. And I'm glad that it's trash for you. Right? I like that for you, as people listen. Right? I like that for you. Because you don't have no right out there. So you destroy your marriage to go there and do that. This next lady, pretty much trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because there's currency. Well, victimhood is a currency, right? And you can monetize it. Poor Joy Taylor, she can't monetize it no more because she would like to be able to peddle the fact that, hey, I had to struggle in the patriarchy. Oh, men so oppressive. Meanwhile, you get what you get, but you back. allegedly, right? So you can't go in the road now, so everybody can. Nobody even listening to you. So podcast done and going to walk boy and talk to young girls, but whole life hard as a woman, and you go fight and struggle to survive.
Wow.
That going through the others too, right? So there is the other side of that. Anyhow, I think we're going on long enough. Let me see if I can bring this to a close, right? Ladies, when you got a good man, as the doc said, it's going to require some sacrifice, some commitment, and some discipline. Not that you don't got things.
Right.
Commitment, discipline. If you can't decide
Right.
that you are going to be disciplined in the commitment you've made, don't get married. Stop talking about you want to get married, humbugging people and all kind of thing, asking me, what are we, and playing pressure and all that junk. If you know you want to be running about in the streets, and after 3 months, after you had the fancy wedding dress and you eat some cake, and all your family was there to eat you and the man, if you know that after all of that going down, that you're going to be bored and want to be in the streets,
right?
Don't
get
all you friends together and hold a birthday party and let that be it, right? Put on a fancy dress, put on a little tiara, hold a party, let that be it, right? Do not humbug the men. Man. If a woman don't let you like that, left it out. Left it out. Right? If you realize you gotta be forever paying for the same things, left it out.
Yeah.
Because he would have had to know. He, Will Smith, they may would have had to know. Because on this is the part they want men to get. When you're successful, women will hook on. The women that will say, you know what? I can make it work. I can make it work a little bit. So, because it's real difficult. I'm going to say this to you guys when we were live in that space on the day. It's difficult when you presented with a millionaire man in front you, ask you to change your life. It's difficult to say, I'm really checking for that.
Right.
Yeah, it's a hypothetical situation. I ain't a millionaire, I ain't a millionaire man in my life. But when that man standing up right there
in front of you, it's a different,
it's a different story, especially when that man contract numbers is not the paper and it got 2 commas in it. It's difficult for you to say, I can hook up with this man.
Yeah.
So, man, a woman cannot let you. She can sleep with you.
Yeah.
All the while she competing with you.
Yes.
If you know that this woman jealous of you and your success, because that's what this really is. I don't think it's so much what she really want to be in the streets. She just want the success that this man had, right? Fellas, if she can't be on your team, helping you win, if they ain't in the boat, help her row, then look at the drill holes, get them out. Folks, this has been another podcast. Like, share. This isn't even a short no more. This is a Senate podcast. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to ensure you don't miss any of the content we got coming for you. We are going to see you guys again soon. Peace.
It's a contaminated environment. And the tutu's about that.